Hello, everyone, and I hope you're all well. My name is Tanner Dagenais, and I'm the host of Self-Sabotage Solutions. On this podcast, it's my opportunity and my pleasure to be able to share everything I know about self-sabotage, but also to be able to share other people's self-sabotage stories. Because it's so important that we know that no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we have experienced in life, that we're all able to overcome self-sabotage. And so today I'm very excited because we have self-sabotage coach and chronic pain expert James Breeding here on the line to share his self-sabotage story. And I've talked to him for a while. I've been very interested in hearing his story. I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. And then also just to be able to hear how he helps people with chronic pain. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, James. And can you please just introduce yourself a little bit, then we can go into your story.
Okay. Thanks, Tanner. It's great to be here. I've been watching your podcast from afar, and I just admire the content you're putting out. And my name is James Breeding. I'm 52 years old, and never thought I'd be in this arena like I am now. And it all kind of started when I went to Anarchapulco in 2020, the last one at the big hotel down there, and I saw Jason Christoff just because he was on the agenda and speaking in one of the mini rooms, and it's like self-sabotage. That's interesting. I'm going to go sit in on that, and he blew my mind. I go, wow. And I was sitting there with a large Starbucks, swilling away, and it's like, okay, that's gone. And just all the things he started talking about with mind programming, it just absolutely blew me away. It's like, and my life is pretty much done a 180 from that day. I was on the path, obviously, because I was in that vein of wanting to learn about myself and learn about the world around me, what's real, what's not. And I've just totally gone upwards ever since. Got a long way to go, but I'm going up from here, no doubt about it.
Fantastic.
So in a nutshell, I'm a chronic pain expert, and I use a modality called holographic manipulation therapy. And basically it allows us to safely and gently clear trauma from anyone quickly and effortlessly. Pretty much all the other modalities out there, you have to get in the trauma to clear it. With this type of therapy, we can get into the trauma without feeling it and without feeling the pain of it and reliving the trauma. That's what I'm trying to get to here. You don't have to relive the trauma to work on it. You can work on it as an observer and clear it out. And it's quick, and it's fun. And in no time, a trauma that has plagued you for decades maybe is now gone and reframed as a happy memory. So I mainly work with women with chronic pain, dealing with all those different facets of that. But I love it, and I love helping people.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds very powerful, being able to make that change that quick without having to relive that trauma, because I know that can be very hard for everyone who's experienced those hardcore traumas to go back and relive it, right? So
that's what prevents most people from getting help. They think that they have to get in it and feel that pain. It's like, you don't have to.
Awesome. That is fantastic. So that's so cool that you do that. So where in your story, I guess, where do you want to start with your story? What point do you want to kind of start? Is it certain age, or where are you starting at?
Sure. I think I've always wanted to improve myself constantly. Just always looking, how can I get better in all areas of my life? Some areas I was more adept than others. Uh, but when I, it really is the turning point for me was at Anarchapulco and seeing Jason down there. Um, because I really knew my path at that point, you know. Uh, it's still kind of gaining clarity as I go, but I know the direction that I'm going. And so I would say my self-sabotage was mostly self-doubt, thinking I'm not good, all the usual, I'm not good enough, way, all that stuff. All that stuff that goes on in your mind. It's usually below your level of consciousness, so you don't even realize it's happening. And that's where, like your five senses are your antennas. Okay. Your five senses are your antennas. And if you've got these subconscious beliefs of I'm not good enough, I have self-doubt, they're when you have an opportunity come your way, whether it's auditory, you hear somebody talking about something that you're interested in, or somebody talks to you directly, or you see something on YouTube, whatever. If you have that subconscious belief underneath, it's going to get tuned out immediately. You won't even have a shot. It's over before it began. With the HMT, like I was talking about, I'm able to actually turn that around now. And as my beliefs have been changing, I just everything's going up from here. But so most of my self sabotage was mostly just, those kind of false beliefs about myself that I'm not good enough to do this, because I've always wanted to start my own business, but I've always just doubted myself constantly. And, oh, that's not going to work. Nobody's going to buy from you. All the same old crap that a lot of us hear in our heads. So uh, from overall self-sabotage, I've always been into health, so that's never been a big issue for me. I've always been fine-tuning that. But I have to say that just in the last year and a half, I'm really starting to excel in that now, like I never have before. I was inconsistent before. Now I'm super consistent, and I can't stop. I'm working out 6 days a week, weight training, doing HIIT workouts, and I'm eating carnivore, kind of animal-based diet. So meat, fruit, a little bit of raw dairy, a little bit of honey. And I'm just getting better and better and better every day health-wise. So health is getting way better. My business is building. It's a slow grind, but it is for everybody. My relationship with my wife is getting better because my beliefs are changing about myself. So, obviously every time in every relationship, it's always about working on yourself first. Working on yourself first, because your problems are not your spouse's problems. You can only fix your problems in the relationship. You can't fix theirs. And it's a fool's errand to do that. So is that kind of, I'm just getting better in all areas of my life. My self-sabotage was just mostly about beliefs. Alcohol never really, of course I was a bozo back in my 20s, back in college. But after that, it's just like, this doesn't appeal to me anymore. This is what children do, to go out and get schnookered every night and make fools of themselves. So life is short, and obviously it gets shorter every day. So we've got limited time. We got limited time to build a business, build relationships, get healthy. Man, there's just too many great books to read. There's too much to do for let that get in my way. So, but I have to make one confession. And now I see all the self-sabotage coaches talking about caffeine, and I 100% agree with it. So I have to admit my one weakness is I get up at 4:45 to work out. So I do have some caffeine to help me get that workout going. So, but that's it. That's where I stop. And it's self-limiting too, because it gives me a headache if I have any more than about 150 milligrams. I just it doesn't work for me. So, but that's my big weakness.
So still something to work on then, right?
Yeah, well, maybe the day when I don't have to get up at 4:40 just because of my schedule, the day I don't have to get up at 4:45 to work out, then I'm okay with not having caffeine. So
Awesome. So I know you were talking about like you were able to start working out consistently. Was that just changing your beliefs that allowed you to do that, or was there something else in there that really allowed you to switch that? And if it was just the beliefs, what kind of belief was it that you was holding you back?
you know, when I honestly, that was more just about habits.
Mhm.
I hired a personal trainer, and I'm totally sold on hiring a coach for any place I want to improve in life now. I'm totally sold on that because it speeds up your transition. So, and life is short. Let's get on with it. Let's move. Let's go. So I hired a personal trainer, and uh, really good guy, actual remote personal trainer. And so I just committed to I want to get in better health. I want to get stronger. So um, I committed to working out at least 5 days a week. And it was mostly the trainer that just got me in that habit of doing it. And now I don't have that trainer anymore, but I am just absolutely addicted to it. I just love it. I feel fantastic. I can run circles around most people. I see most people my age, 52, they're circling the drain.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, time to get on this medication, time to, oh, I'm an old fart. I can't get out of bed. Everything hurts. Wah, 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 and it's like, it hurts for me to get out of bed. That's because I'm sore because I've been working my ass off. So, um, where was I going with this? So yeah, okay. It was mostly habits. It was mostly habits that got me here. And as I've been learning HMT as well, and I can do this work on myself, yes, my beliefs have gotten better and better and better. And I work on myself every single day, uh, getting rid of feelings that are not serving me, getting rid of beliefs that are not serving me. I work on myself every single day to get better and better. And I'm just gaining momentum like a snowball. So it's a mixture of habits and improving beliefs as I go along.
Awesome. And that makes total sense. Yeah. And that point you made where, there's a lot of people who are like just telling themselves, oh, I'm getting old. I have all this pain, right? It's funny because not even my generation, which is like I'm like 29 years old,
Yeah.
or even people younger than
Yep.
me. I'll hear people, oh, I'm getting old. My knees are hurting. My knees are popping. It's like you're like 20 some years old. Like, what are you telling yourself right now, right? That's like one of those limiting beliefs where, and partially I think it's partially because people aren't taking care of themselves, so their bodies are like aching, and but part of it I think is just like the belief that like there's so much of that like negative attitude about getting old, and like you see all those memes
Mhm.
out there about getting old and things, and that has a deep impact on our subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, you go ahead. I wanted to hear what you were
Okay.
saying.
So yeah, it's that programming, that constant programming. Oh, you're an old fart. You need to do this, this, and this.
Mhm.
You need to wear, these kind of clothes. You need to get on these pills to improve your lifestyle. Your testosterone. Oh, and this is more of a generational thing, but you see low T centers
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere in the strip shopping malls now. No, no, never heard of that when I was a kid, ever. So I grew up in the 70s, 80s. Never heard of that. Never saw dialysis centers when I was a kid. Now they're all over the place. The gym that I go to, there's a company, it doesn't matter what the company is, but there's a dialysis center right next to it. And
Wow.
there's like 8 buses that go and pick people up to go get kidney dialysis.
Mhm.
And everybody's, and they're on their 37 medications or whatever, and they're getting dialysis, and they just think that, okay, that's life. This is what everybody does, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just the belief, and food is, especially with inflation, food is just turning into absolute garbage. Industrial waste is what most of it is. Seed oils are industrial waste. They use those for uh, industrial as lubricants in industrial applications. And it's like, hey, we can feed this to people too, because it's insanely profitable. So yeah, I can see where people, if they eat the standard American diet, I can see where they're going to believe that this is how we're supposed to feel as we get old. And it's total bullshit. It's not true. Not true at all.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we can change. Is a big part of self-sabotage is what you eat. So it's awesome that you've always kind of, eaten like good food, good natural food. So were you always like eating that like carnivore diet, or how did
No,
your diet kind of change throughout?
sure. I've gone, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. You go through so many different iterations trying to figure out what's healthy, because information is coming at you left and right. And and what you have to realize after a certain period of time, that depending on what channel that information is coming to you through, it's got an agenda, it's got money behind it, that's funding it. So I tried the vegetarian for just a little bit, and I got started to get fat.
Hmm.
Never really, vegan never made sense to me. Um, and just tried to eat, I ate tofu this and tofu that, thinking that was good for me. Um, just always trying to find uh, the best way to eat for me. Low carb, the zone diet. Man, there's so many of them over the last, whatever decades. So I've been eating carnivore-ish, kind of animal-based, just in the last couple of months, and I freaking love it. I love it. A lot of people get turned off by it because it sounds so limiting, but to me, it's like I'm a guy, so I'm super functional. I'm functional. I don't want to do anything that's not necessary. So if I'm eating the most nutrient dense food there is, why do I need to eat that other crap? I don't need to.
Mhm.
I'm eating grass fed meat, a couple of pounds a day, every single day. Uh, and I love fruit, so this works great for me. I'm learning to limit my. I kind of went hog wild at first and put on a little weight
Mhm.
because I was doing really good. Then I said, I am sick of counting my calories. I'm sick of recording everything in my little Fitness Pal app. I'm just tired of it. I've been doing it for a year. Enough. So I found this, and yeah, I went a little hog wild and gained a little bit of weight with the fruit. So now I'm learning to kind of limit that in the morning after I've worked out, and things are starting to equalize a little bit. But I just love it because I know I'm feeding my body good stuff, and I've done enough research to realize that. Uh, Boy, we could go a lot of avenues with this. To realize that most nutrition research is bullshit, and it's just funded, uh, backdoor funded by groups that have an agenda. And now with all the WEF crap, F the WEF, all this WEF crap coming out, um, we know that we're going to have a plethora of crap, fiat funded studies coming out telling us that veggie this, bug that is great for you, and meat is evil, 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 while Klaus Schwab is dining on his T-bone steak. We all know they're going to continue to eat meat. So, and why are they eating meat? Because it is the most nutritious food on earth,
Mhm.
and it's delicious, and it fills us up. That's why everybody's getting fat, is because they're not full. They're not getting the proper nutrition from the food that they're eating.
Yeah.
So I could eat, you know, I could eat a mound of salad, or I could have one steak, and it equals about the same being full. So So I love it. It's just a super utilitarian diet for me, and it's perfect.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. I've heard a lot of people go into like carnivore-ish or like a almost full meat diet or animal product kind of diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point you make. Like nutrition is so important, right? Because that's like a lot of people like eat a whole meal and they're like, I'm still hungry. Like, well, why are you still hungry? It's because your body's still needing those nutrients, right?
Yep.
Your body's saying,
Yep.
hey, I didn't get the nutrients I need. So and then they
Hmm.
continue to eat and they overeat. So I think that's a fantastic point. And
Hmm.
I love how you put it, like just looking for the most nutrient dense food, right? Like nutrient dense. And I know you said grass fed. Do you kind of look for organic food as well? How important is that for you and your selection is also?
It's that's what I love about this diet. It's just super simple. I've got a great source direct from a rancher, grass fed beef. I just got an order of 120 pounds like a couple days ago. Just I load up that freezer because that's mostly what I eat, and I just get some organic fruit, and I'll eat a little bit of squash. I'll eat some of that, and a little bit of it's hard to find raw dairy. I'm in Colorado. It's in every state is different with the rules, so it's a little hard to find it here where I'm at. But if I can get that, great. Grass-fed butter, and that's really, and a little bit of raw honey, and that's it. That's my diet. I don't care about vegetables anymore. Um, Everybody has to find what works for them, but I feel absolutely fantastic. And you see, we've all done blood work at times, and you see, everybody's concerned about heart disease and so forth, and we could go off on a tangent on that. But the perception that red meat or saturated fat is bad for you is just absolutely ridiculous. The real research uh, plays out that it does not cause plaque in your arteries. It's all the processed food, the seed oils, wheat, all the foods that have been manipulated by man. And another thing I love about this diet is there's no ingredients. There's no ingredients. Well, what's in this? Meat. What's in this? Fruit. What's in this? Honey. What's in this? Dairy. That's it. There's no hydrolyzed blah blah blah. What there's no ingredients. It's just food. That's it.
I
Super
love
simple.
that. I love that. Something me and Steve Toth always talk about is eating the DERF diet. Just eat real food because
Uh-huh.
that's really what we eat what your ancestors used to eat.
Yes.
That's what kind of I think that's kind of what you're talking about as well. Is like
Yeah.
eating what real food, not like that processed garbage, not the fast food, not the stuff that's in a box.
Yeah.
That's
Nothing in a
that's
box.
that's
Yep.
going to take more energy to build up and actually digest that food. So
Yes.
completely agree with that. Um,
Yeah. If a guy in a white lab coat designed your food, it's not food.
yeah,
No.
exactly. Mhm. Yeah, but I think everyone's slightly different on like what food they require. Um,
Mhm.
on some level too, because like everyone has their own little like nutrient imbalances and things like that. So what works for one person might not work for another person.
Yep.
And what I heard Paul Chek talk about is how it kind of based off of like what your ancestors ate. So like a lot of like what your ancestors ate is like what your stomach and your like body's kind of like
Mhm.
predetermined to like enjoy as well. So I thought that was really interesting.
True. Yeah. Depending on where your ancestors came from. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some nutrition plans will work better for others. What was I going to say? Oh, uh, uh, what's his name? Bill Mollison. Bill Mollison, the designer, the creator of permaculture back in the 70s. He basically said the farther you are away from the equator, the more carnivore your diet will be. And that's true. And that's true because what do you see like the Eskimos eating? They're eating whale meat, whale blubber because they're not growing broccoli. That's what's available to them. That's if you're unable to plant a garden, then meat is what is available to you. So,
Good point. So yeah, I think we covered the food topic pretty well. I kind of want to go back a little bit to just kind of touch about like the negative thinking and things like that, because I think that was an integral part of your story. So in what ways did it hold you back? I know it kind of held you back from like working out and from creating your own business, but can you go like a little like deeper examples or like kind of explain to people? Because I think a lot of people have like this negative thinking. Like I know for me, like it was part of it was like public speaking. So like I never would have thought I'd be hosting a podcast or speaking in
mhm.
front of other people. So and what like give us some examples where like you may be holding yourself or where you held yourself back with that. And
Sure. Well, the first thing I think of is just my inconsistency in working out.
Mhm,
I know what that was. It was all freaking mental. It was all mental. I'd be at the gym and I'd be worrying about 37 other things
mhm,
instead of being focused on what I was doing. So sometimes I would leave my workouts, and I remember this over the years that I've been working out. I've been in the gym since, I don't know, probably about 15 years old, on and off. So yeah, I would be in the middle of a workout and my mind would just start wandering, and it's like, oh, I need to go take care of that, and I'd leave the gym. So, and then I'd go months or years without working out. Uh, and your body starts, you stop moving, your body starts deteriorating. So, and obviously that picks up the older you get. But so there was one that's one time in my life when I know anxiety was and negative thinking was getting in my way of better health. Definitely with starting a business, um, you know, I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to buy from me. Um, I got nothing to sell. Um, this takes too long. Blah blah blah. Just a litany of excuses. And uh, just by honestly, that's another thing that's similar to my path with working out. It's just a matter of habits. You just do it. I don't care if you like it or not. You just freaking do it. And you don't think about it. You just do it. You turn the brain off and you just do it. So that's the place to start, I think. And then start fixing those beliefs as you go. And like I said, I've got techniques that I use that as soon as I get a feeling that comes up, and it's all about being consciously aware of that negative belief, because it's below your level of conscious, so you don't realize it's there. It's shutting down opportunities left and right without you realizing it. You go for years, and it's like you don't even know these things are out there. That girl that you wanted to talk to, that business owner you wanted to talk to, I'll just shut down before you had a chance. So um, by when I feel a certain feeling now and I'm consciously aware of it, I can change it like immediately. And it's layers of veneer though, because you started out with this one belief of I'm not good enough or whatever at 4 years old. Let's say it happened then just because of something your mom or dad said to you, not intending to be negative, but it was. And you started with that belief and then you built upon that constantly. It's like layers of veneer, layers of shellac that just build up year after year after year after year, or daily. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. Can't do this. So it takes time to peel away those layers. It takes consistent work and consistent effort, but you can make big breakthroughs as soon as you start to become consciously aware of these beliefs. And go, okay, I'm changing that. That doesn't work for me at all. I want to be here, and that's going to prevent me from getting there. So we have to get to work. I mean, it's just like working out. It's just like working out. It's daily maintenance, daily work. It's all those small, consistent efforts that get you to your goal. And that's a big thing I've learned too, just the last couple of years of how these small, consistent, and you see people say this all the time. You just go, yeah, 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 whatever. No, it's these small, consistent efforts that puts you, it's like, look how far I've come. It's like, holy crap. When you look back, over the years. And why don't I just keep doing that? It's working. So,
I think you're totally correct about that. Like a lot of people focus on the big picture of like the large
yeah,
goal in mind, and
yeah,
they kind of forget like there's all these tiny steps in between. Like if you don't take those
thousands of them,
steps, you're not going to be able to
thousands.
get to that big goal, right? Like,
That's right. That's right. And yeah, that's where you have to also uh, focus. Yes, you have that goal, and yeah, you maybe write down three things you're going to do each day to achieve that goal. Okay, those steps, those tiny steps, but focus on those steps. Focused on the steps, and it takes the pressure off the big goal. Yeah, you want to get there, and yeah, of course, you're a little impatient. I'm extremely impatient. I have to deal with that, but uh, just keep working, just keep working, just keep working, and have that goal, but focus on the journey to get there. That takes a little bit of the pressure off.
and about the impatient thing, I think a lot of people are kind of that way. And at least in my thought process, it's because like society is kind of set up in like that. Well, humans kind of want that quick satisfaction to begin with, but then our society is kind of set up that way. We have the fast food, we have the medicine. You take this pill and you lose weight. We have
Mhm.
all that kind of thinking where it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that to take the long way. I'm going to take the short, easy way, which is usually that self-sabotage. That short-term thinking, like instant gratification, wanting that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So I definitely understand thinking like I want that now, because that's popped in my head multiple times. I'm like, no, no, no. I want to think the long term. I want to think like, how do I actually build this and get to it correctly?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah. Our society, every every bit. I mean, a little bit more each day is what I'm trying to say. A little bit more each day is becoming more about instant gratification, and TikTok is just, my gosh. I get stuck on that sometimes for an hour, and I'm like, God, why did I do that? I just wasted an hour. Just like I think we all used to get stuck on YouTube for like an hour, and then we kind of got over that. But now it's like instant dopamine hits. So yeah, it's hard for, and my son's 19, and he's about to start his career here pretty soon. Um, so he's definitely in that vein, and I keep talking about, like investing in Bitcoin or whatever. Just add a little bit once a week, a little bit once a week. Yeah, the price is big, but over time you'll have a nice amount. Just add a little bit each week. So yeah, the younger generation is totally focused on instant gratification, and I want this now. And that's really intensified. If you see the hashtag YOLO all the time now,
oh yeah.
yeah, you only live once. Why are people thinking more in that vein? It's because our money is being destroyed as we speak. It's getting destroyed at a rate about 15% per year. So if people think that their money is being destroyed, as they earn it, they've just earned it and it's being destroyed. It's like, well, I'm going to go out with a bang because my money's not going to be worth anything. What's the point of investing? What's going to get me a 15% return at least per year? No, hardly nothing, hardly nothing. So you have that kind of attitude of, I'm going to go travel the world. I'm going to do the van life. And I have got nothing against that. I'm kind of jealous of the people that are look like they're having a great time. But if you have this short-term perspective all the time, because this is just a cycle, yes, our money's being destroyed, but over time, things will even out. Yeah, we're going to get screwed in the meantime for 10, 20 years, maybe. Okay. But it's going to even out over time. So make those investments now, buy that real estate, buy a little bit of Bitcoin, buy a little bit of gold, whatever. Long-term investments. Think about long-term investments. Think about long-term building a business. Think about long-term health. If you have this YOLO kind of attitude, you're going to freaking eat garbage food all the day. Because what the hell does it matter? Why? What is it going to matter? Because, I'm not going to have any money anyway, and I'm going to be a Klaus Schwab robot. So you have to, that's what they want. They want you to think short term and um, be just ready to accept whatever they're going to shove down your throat. And, screw that. No, no, we've still got tremendous opportunities out there. Right now, yes, our money's being destroyed, but also some of the greatest opportunities ever in anybody's lifetime that's still alive are happening right now or are going to happen in the next year or two. Tremendous transition, just creates mega opportunities. So now's the time to be changing those beliefs, and otherwise you're not going to be able to tune into those opportunities. They're going to be coming your way, and you're going, nope, 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 nope. And then you're going to look back and go, wow, that would have been a good idea to invest in that. Well, you know what? Your friend over here was trying to get you, but you were saying no. So yeah, it all ties together. I'm not sure what your question was now that I've
No, you
gone on
answered
for a
it.
while.
No, you answered it. Don't worry. Yeah, but something while you were talking about like the technology aspect of it, because like social media is, I think a lot of it is like designed to get like that quick fix, instant gratification, and just like that ding, 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 like notification, likes,
Yep.
and kind of draws a lot of people's minds, like where they just like get lost in it for like an hour, like you did. So
Yep.
for you, how much has like technology played a part in your self-sabotage, like TV, social media, things like that?
Not a lot. I'd say social media has. Social media is still a struggle for me. Just because I've got a zillion different interests and it's so easy to go off a zillion different directions. TV, not so much. I always thought, even when I was a kid, I always thought it was stupid that people watch TV in terms of like watching like sitcoms. I go, that's funny to you? None of it was funny to me. So I never understood that. So TV has never been a big thing. I turned my cable, all my subscriptions off. Netflix and Amazon a few years ago, just because it's so dark and negative.
Oh, yeah.
And TV, we haven't had a cable subscription in, I don't know, 15 years. 15, yeah, maybe. And I've never missed it, not once, and saved how many thousands of dollars. So social media is my biggest struggle with, because I know I can be more productive if I just tune it out as much as I can.
Definitely understandable.
Mhm.
I mean, that's kind of the way it's designed, though, is to pull you in
Yes.
and
Yep.
get it to you. Like I think Facebook even like admitted that they have designed it in that way to kind of get like a dopamine fix and like pull you in, like make it addicted to it.
Yeah, it goes way deeper than we all have any concept of. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. They've got psychologists involved. They know exactly what they're doing. And TikTok has taken it, I think, to the next level. Talk about it. I mean, talk about a dopamine hit. I mean, Facebook looks like nothing compared to TikTok as far as that adrenaline rush. Nothing.
I think you go
Yeah.
on TikTok and you just get lost in like 100 videos in like a couple minutes. You're just like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah. What just happened? What just happened? And I feel remorse. So I'm like, that was a waste. Okay. So yeah, I've got knowledge about 20 new things, but how is that going to help me build a business? How is that going to help me get healthier? Maybe tidbits here and there, but we've all got too much information already. We all just need to take action. We all need to take action. We've got enough information. We don't need more. We don't need more. Just take action. You will learn along the way, whatever you're doing, whatever pursuit it is. Stop freaking gathering information. It's not helping. It's made it worse.
Oh yeah, I think that's a really good point, because a lot of people are like, I'm not experienced enough to do this. I I need to
No,
be an expert in this to move forward.
no,
And it's like, well, if you start now, like that's why you always hear from like a lot of people who are really successful. Like, I wish I would have started sooner instead of
yeah.
waiting to gather like all these certifications or all this knowledge. Like, if I would have just started sooner, I would have been much more successful sooner. So I think that's a
Yeah.
great point.
Yeah. Can you help? Are you more of an expert on one subject than somebody else? Yeah, you are. I don't care what it is. Everybody's an expert, more of an expert than a good segment of the population in something else. So start there. And as create your media, your social media, or whatever you're doing, you'll become an even greater expert. And then people start looking at you, go, wow, he knows some things about this particular topic. He's the expert. So I want to talk to him. Yeah, it's just about getting started, and you build confidence as you go, you build knowledge as you go. And yes, you do become the expert if you take that deep dive. Mhm.
I have a question here. I think we kind of touched on it a little bit, but so I think like what we associate pain with is really important, and like allowing ourselves to feel the pain that we're in. Like, 'cause, like pain is usually like a message to us, like a motivator that we
Mhm.
can use as like motivation to move forward. And a lot of people are just kind
Mhm.
of like avoiding it or sedating it. So, what kind of role do you think that played in your life? Did you ever like avoid your pain? Did you associate pain with like the things you want to do? For like example, like you wanted to work out, but you thought, oh, working out is so hard. I don't want to work out. Like, and those kind of like limiting beliefs as well. But like that's also associating pain with something else, right? So how did that kind of change for you, and what that look like?
Yeah, the biggest avoidance for me was building a business,
Mhm.
and I still do it today. When there's a hard thing to do, it's like, I will do that. So that'll send you off a little on a social media tangent, or hey, I need to go paint the weather vane on top of my house. You'll go find anything to do except the thing that causes you pain.
Mhm.
And that's by design. Your subconscious mind will do anything to shield you from pain.
Mhm.
Uh, anything. It will literally kill you to shield you from pain. So, whether that's, eating poorly, drinking alcohol, whatever, it will say, well, I want you to do this instead of consciously feeling the pain that I feel in the subconscious. So it will do anything for you to avoid that, from something as harmless as painting that weather vane, or going to hanging out with idiots and drinking alcohol. So, yep, yeah, business for me was and still is a struggle to do those hard things that I don't want to do. Uh, but I just keep reminding myself, little efforts every day. We'll get there. And because tremendous rewards lie on the other side of that, greater than anything you or I have ever experienced. Um, yeah, a great new life lies on the other side of that pain. Mhm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That pain's there to tell us something like, hey, it's supposed to be like a fire underneath us that's supposed to give us like, it's time to go, it's time to get up, it's time to get moving, like that anxiety or that depression, right? It's supposed to be like something's wrong, like we need to make some changes.
Yeah, and that's one thing you can do too. There's a lot of different ways to handle this. I definitely recommend going after those beliefs directly and dealing with them. But if you keep yourself busy, because idle hands is the devil's workshop, like they used to say back in the day. Um, if you're idle, you're anxious. You're going to be most likely you're going to find something to be anxious about, and a reason not to go after what you want. So by me getting up at 4:45 every morning, there's no choice, and it's automatic now. I wake up at 4 and I can't go back to sleep. I'm just sitting there waiting for the alarm to go off. Uh, so now it's a habit that I can't stop, which is a good thing for me. Um, so yeah, stay busy, schedule your day, Schedule your day. Don't leave too much slack in there. Schedule relaxation, schedule getting outside, because those are necessary. I need to do more of that myself. But schedule your day. Schedule your day. Otherwise, it's not going to happen if you don't schedule it, because you will fill those gaps with social media or whatever useless activity, painting the weather vane. So,
Good point. Good point. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end here. I am curious. I know you kind of talked about like holistic manipulation theory a little bit. Can you kind of go into it a little bit more, just for everyone here listening? And I'd be curious to hear a little more about it as well.
sure. So holographic manipulation therapy was created by Dr. Gabe Roberts, who I've been learning from. And he's a functional medicine doctor, chiropractor, PhD in metaphysics, working on another PhD. It'll be his third PhD right now. And he's gone through all these other modalities. And the reason for it was, in his functional medicine practice, he would give supplements, do adjustments as a chiropractor to his patients. And oftentimes the conditions that went away always came back every single time. And he got frustrated with it. It's like, this is just not working. I want to do the best for my clients, and this is not the best. And I'm sure there's a bunch of doctors and chiropractors that can relate to that. So he did a deep dive on figuring out why these conditions are coming back. And the bottom line is, in a nutshell, they're repressed emotions. Repressed emotions are the reason for most of the health concerns out there. And we're talking, and this is going to be controversial, of course, but we're talking cancer, we're talking ALS, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, whatever you have it. Most of this is due to repressed emotions. So he did a deep dive on all these different modalities: hypnosis, EMDR, EFT, Psyche, all these different modalities. And they can be effective, but they left something to be desired. And the bottom line is that they would work on the trauma, and with hypnosis and EMDR, for example, you have to get in the trauma to deal with it. And most people don't want to do that. And it slows down the process too. So he got certified in all these things, practiced them, and he goes, okay, this is great here. This works here. This isn't so great. The bottom line is that they didn't completely clear the trauma. You had to get in it, and it didn't completely clear the trauma. So the techniques that he developed with holographic manipulation therapy, these techniques allow you to work on the trauma, but you don't have to get into it. Like I said, you don't have to feel it. Well, you need to feel the feeling, but you don't need to feel the entire experience of the trauma. Let me say that. And it completely clears the trauma. So if you don't completely clear it, you get triggered. You can get triggered again. If there's fragments of it left, you can get triggered. And how often do we get triggered? Everywhere you get triggered is where there's an emotion that's holding you down. So we shouldn't get triggered by all this garbage we see on a daily basis. 99.9% of it doesn't affect us. Why are we getting triggered by it? Okay. And it will also help improve your relationships if you're not getting triggered off your spouse, and so forth. So you safely and gently clear out the trauma, and it's completely permanently gone once you do that. And it's miraculous. And a lot of this is based on, you can do research on this. A lot of this is based on a German new medicine. Okay. With a doctor named Reich Geerd Hammer, who's passed away since then. But in a nutshell, his son was shot and killed, and he developed like testicular cancer, like shortly after that. And he dealt with that. And it's like, wow, this is I know this cancer has something to do with my son being killed, because it was a shock to me. So in his 40,000 patients that he served over many decades, he found roughly about 92% of them, their diseases, and it was a myriad of different diseases, their diseases were caused by a traumatic shock of some kind. And once that shock occurred, a disease developed shortly thereafter. So, of course, he was castigated, lost his license because he presented his research. And of course, nobody wanted to hear it because it challenged every single convention there was. And the tremendous, billions and trillions of pharma and all the medical schools and so forth. And he made it simple. They want to make everything complex. This was simple. This was simple. And once he figured that out, he was able to actually start healing his patients like permanently. And you'd have cancers and other conditions doing a 180 shortly after doing the type of work he did with them. So that's a lot where this came from. But the bottom line is that repressed emotions are what is making most people sick. And the hard part is you don't even realize they're there. Those emotions are there and they're below your level of consciousness. So, and most people suffer with anxiety of some kind. Okay. We've all dealt with some kind of trauma in childhood, and trauma does not have to be, I apologize if you hear barking dogs. Trauma does not have to be violent or sexual or dramatic like you think it is. It could just be your dad yelling at you for spilling something, and you hit this emotional overwhelm. And let's say it's on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. You hit like a level 9 on this scale, and your conscious mind actually splits in two. Your conscious mind goes on, one part goes on living, okay, with life. The other part, it freezes. Now imagine, and how you can relate to this is imagine getting in a car wreck, right? Everything kind of freezes, right? Every kind of thing kind of freezes. Your life may flash before your eyes like that. That is your mind actually taking a picture and storing all the details of that emotional overwhelm where you hit like this 9 out of 10 level. Okay. And it stores it in your body. We think that emotions or everything's up here. It's not true. Not true. Your emotions are stored in holograms, and we don't have to get into too much detail there, but your emotions are stored in holograms throughout your body. You could have emotions stored in your elbow. You could have emotions stored in your chest, your heart. Most common places are gut and heart and head. That's the most common places where you're going to feel things. So, if you think about a certain thing that gives you anxiety, you're going to feel it in your body. And that's a trapped emotion. That's a trapped emotion that needs to be released. So the work I do is all about releasing those trapped emotions, and just absolutely miraculous things happen as a result of that.
That's awesome. Super interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
And you can do that over like Zoom or something like that. You don't have to be in person.
Yeah, pretty much all my appointments are over Zoom.
That's really cool.
Yep.
It's awesome. You can just help people from across the world. So, and such quick, easy transformation too. So
yes.
We'll kind of do one last question here, and that's just for the listeners. Like, what's the one main takeaway you want them to take away as far like as overcoming self-sabotage? Like, if you had one recommendation for them of like one thing to focus on, what would you think? And I'm sure you probably talked about it a little bit in the podcast, but feel free to repeat.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I think the best place to start is with physical health. Because you can make an argument for both, but I think what works is just go start working out, and you don't have to do what anybody else is doing. Just go do whatever you want to do. Go climb rocks, go ride a bike, whatever. Go do whatever turns your screw. Start with physical health. You'll just start naturally feeling better. You'll tone down the anxiety. You'll just become more confident. Okay, and that's a great place to start. And start working out, and then start incorporating a better diet. Find what works for you. I'm not going to say there's a end all be all solution. So find what works for you, and then really start, and then set further goals from there. Okay, what do I want to do with my life? I don't want to just exist as a robot in life, living out my life through my unconscious beliefs, which are controlling. They control your life. They really do. They control every facet of your life. So be aware, be conscious, stop, turn off the media, and start going, what do I want to do with my life? What makes me happy? Okay. It's probably not going to that 9 to 5. Most likely it's not. We're all meant to be entrepreneurs. We're all meant to be small business owners of some kind. I really believe that. So, yeah, start working on those goals. And then, okay, every time you think about those goals, okay, what beliefs do I have that are not serving me? I'm not good enough, like all the same things I said. Okay. And start tackling those beliefs. So physical health, and then start looking at your goals, and then tackling those beliefs that are not serving you. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, great advice. Yeah, so everyone listening, if for everyone listening, where can they find you? I'll put your links down below, but just kind of
Sure.
stay it off where you can find you.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, just check out those links. And yeah, I'm trying to post content at least every single day. Trying to do more and more of that as I can. But yeah, I would love to work with people, and there's nothing that gives me greater joy than seeing people improve their lives, and me helping them with that. Man, it's such a rush. There's nothing better.
I totally agree with that. And yeah, I guess make sure you check out his content. I was looking it over these last couple days, and it's all fantastic. It's like right on point. So great job. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was super interesting speaking with you, and um, just a pleasure. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thanks. This was a blast, Tanner. Anytime, man.
Awesome.